Alrighty, and we are back with part 2 of this thread right over here. It is called the 1-year anniversary recap. This is where the devs talk about what happened in the previous year. And we went over part 1 yesterday, if you guys are watching it when it drops. So let's go over part 2, starting off from clan and family. By the way, I am going to link part 1 double in the description. If you missed it, we go over all of this stuff right over here. Alrighty, so let's continue. So the devs continue saying, a related area of the game that has been quite a bit of development since launch is the clan and family system. In the past year, we created a healthier population with many new lords and ladies added. Yeah, and one of the big patches, they added a lot more, women that you can marry. Also, they increased the marriage, the marriage age. So, and I'm pretty sure they also included changes to how NPCs got married and all that, which pretty much helped increase, how many NPCs got married and therefore how many children they had and how many of those children grow up and kind of extend the game further. Taught them to intermingle and marry, exactly what I just said. Improved the coming of age for their offspring and enabled natural death along with a way to disable it as requested by our warband veterans. There it is. One thing that they are working on currently right now, I don't know if they're going to mention it here, but a problem they have is that companions, since they don't really get married and since they can die, there's only a certain amount of them that will spawn before they stop spawning. So if you have a very long save currently, what happens is companions stop spawning after like 20 years, So what they're doing is they have 2 ways that they were thinking of actually like improving that system. First, introducing a lot more unique companions, like a lot more, not like they're not going to not improve their story in a way, but just add a lot more different stories. Like whenever you meet a companion in a tavern, they have all these unique stories they tell you, right? And they're thinking of adding a lot more of those stories, or just changing the names up and keeping the original stories. What I suggested was just keep the original stories. I don't think a lot of people read those stories, to be honest with you, and just make it so they keep spawning regardless of how far we are in the save. But that is a problem they are dealing with right now when it comes to like clan and family. So hopefully that is dealt with soon. Let's continue reading. New options for clan leaders were also added. For one, you can now develop the skills of your offspring through the education feature as they grow older. Adult clan members, in turn, have become more useful with expanded captain, party leader, and governor perk effects. And even if you prefer to keep them safe, they can develop relations with locals when you leave them in a settlement. Or if you wish to arrange a marriage for one of your clan members, you can now do so as well. All very true. This is a cool system. Obviously, as your child grows, every couple of ages, you will have to kind of, pick out what their skills will kind of be as they grow. Kind of like the character creation screen, except it happens every couple of years, which I think is very, very cool. What else did I want to talk about? Obviously, you have the emissary feature. If you leave your family members or clan members in a town, you will gain reputation randomly with other people in that town. And then also, if you own the town, they can become governors, which was there from the start. Okay. They continue saying, finally, AI decision making was worked on as well, leading to better target selection for parties and financial management for clan leaders, alongside various tweaks to deal with starvation and the ability to recruit from and trade with neutral rather than just allied settlements. Yeah, the NPCs did get a lot of additions, and just overall they have become a lot smarter than before. There's still issues, but they have become smarter. Still, mismanagement and poor luck remain possible for both players and AI nobles, and have been made much more impactful with the introduction of rebellions. Obviously, the rebellion feature, very cool. Hopefully, they add on more to it. There's a lot of potential there. But currently, as a feature that it stands, I think it's a solid feature. Obviously, if your loyalty gets too low, and if your security gets too low, your settlement will rebel. You have 30 days to take it. After those 30 days, the rebel clan that's formed whenever the rebellion starts, they will actually be able to join other kingdoms and actually become lords that also go around, and they'll become a certified clan that is there to stay, which is cool. Next up is Kingdom and Armies. Of course, you may aspire to greater things than just being the head of the household, such as serving or leading a kingdom through the maelstrom of Calradian power struggles. The latter, in particular, is something that we want to enable early on with the introduction of the sandbox kingdom creation, as well as the ability to hire mercenary clans to support a realm and a kingdom decision to handle succession. True, all of those are in the game. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I think in terms of combat, in terms of waging war, I think that the game does it pretty well. However, whether you are a king or not, you should be able to influence major political and military action. This is why War and Peace barter was converted to kingdom decisions that vassals and rules can partake in. Currently, it's not that good of a system, but obviously we have talked about the devs improving this by actually increasing these influence costs in the future, which will make it so less clans can kind of vote, and that will make it so that you as the player, if you pick the top option, you can really sway this. Because not as much kingdoms will vote, and if they vote, they won't vote the bigger numbers, and therefore your vote counts for a lot more. Which, if this was in real life, would suck, but in the game sphere, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It will provide for better gameplay. Alright, next. Diplomacy in general has been a very hot topic throughout development, with many ideas put forward. Our focus has been to improve the decision-making on the part of the vassals and kings so that they act in an interesting way, but also reasonable ways. Thanks to some pretty elaborate playtesting and feedback, they have improved quite a bit when it comes to self-preservation and war and peace decisions, as well as it comes to making more reliable personality and relationship-based defections or rejections thereof. Okay. Personally, I think there's a lot needed to make diplomacy. It's hard. Okay, look. There is a diplomacy system in the game. And personally, it's like I feel like a lot of people look towards other games, Crusader Kings, for example, which has their diplomacy cranked up. You know what I mean? Like the diplomacy gameplay that you can have in Crusader Kings it's like if this was a tier list, it would be S tier. You know what I mean? And then that's pretty much what people look for in terms of like how they feel that Bannerlord's diplomacy system should be as well. I think it shouldn't be to that maximum Crusader Kings level, because Crusader Kings is missing a big part that Bannerlord does have that kind of evens the scales, in my opinion. If you like combat, if you like first-person combat, medieval combat, that's something that Bannerlord does really well, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Mount & Blade has always done it very well. And it's weird because I would like the best of both worlds, where I would like CK3 diplomacy and Bannerlord fights, which is a mod that is actually we talked about it, a mod that does plan to do that. If you want to look that up, Google Crusader Blade. That is what the mod is called, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that is it's in the making right now, so we don't know when that's going to come out. But obviously, everybody wishes for CK3 diplomacy and Bannerlord kind of combat. I think that is, everybody's goal. But I think that I don't think Bannerlord will ever reach the Crusader King level. But at the same time, I don't think it needs to. I think it needs to get pushed up a little bit more, but not all the way to that level, if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if that really makes sense. Obviously, I would like the max crank all the way up to the top, but I'll be happy with the what's it called? Just a little bit more increases, a little bit more options, a little bit more information. I think would be great. Naturally, not all diplomacy takes place in such a I can't say that. Courteous? I think that's courteous fashion. I'm saying that wrong. And so, Army AI received much of the same attention that clan parties did. Leaders are now much less likely to pursue faraway targets and favoring attacking holdings of people they dislike over those that they like. And to make things more interesting, a new decision was added to sieges as well. Pillaging allows conquerors to devastate, pillage, or show mercy to the settlements, which AI lords do based on the personality, available influence, and morale. The feature further adds to the dynamic of the game, with settlement projects now on the line to be destroyed. You know what I think this game is really missing in terms of diplomacy? I think the reason why it feels it's so like there's not much in terms of diplomacy is because we don't know when most of this stuff happens. You know what I mean? When AI makes big decisions, when they take stuff over, the reasons why they took it over, all of this, we just don't have any information about it. You know, unless we're directly involved or we're directly making this decision. I think it would be very cool if we had a lot more information and when we talk to specific lords that their convos would be about the current situation in the world. I think that would make it a lot more in depth, right? I think it's there. I just think it's not being shown to the player. You know, not the conversations. I know those aren't really there, but more of like, you know, just stuff in general being shown, like, oh, did this person show mercy to that person? You know, how does this person feel about that person? There should be that really. It should be shown. I know it's in the calculations where the AI calculates stuff, but it would be cool if those calculations can transform into information that the player receives in the game. I think that would be cool. Combat and battle sieges. One of the staples of Mount & Blade series is the combat system. That is pound for pound. I think it has, in my opinion. I don't know if everyone agrees with me with this, but in my opinion, I've seen a lot of those medieval fighting games and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, I like the simplicity of the Mount & Blades. Whether you like Mount & Blade Warband or Bannerlord, I think both of them, the combat system is simple yet very effective. And there's no question that we want to continue to use the early access period to further improve it with your input. There have already been a number of notable additions since the start of early access, such as auto-block, cheering, target locking, and additional radical order wheel, and the ability to wield some crossbows on horseback. And as other systems like perks have made progress, complementary. I can't read. I'm sorry. It's so late. Complementary. I can't read. Jesus Christ. Complementary. There it is. Mechanics, such as the ability to assign captains to formations, has been introduced to make use of them. Yes, cool. I agree with all this. I think combat is good. Obviously, people are going to be like, you know, they're going to nitpick and be like, oh, well, there's some bad collisions and this and that. I think combat's pretty good. Pound for pound. Is it perfect? No, but I think it's very good. At the same time, we received a lot of feedback about field battles and siege missions, and we have used this to address many issues and improve the behavior of agents and formations. The overhaul to formation and tactics AI, for one, introduced new unit categories like skirmishers to better handle troops with throwing weapons. It also taught mixed formations to shuffle their shield bearers to the front in the shield wall and improve the tactical response to things like choke points, range fire, and the composition of enemy forces. Similar, I can't read. The weapon selection of agents is smarter, and their understanding of weapon length and positioning was improved. Having said that, sieges in particular remain an active part of development and will continue to see improvements. All right, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't really use formations. I feel like people have mixed feelings. But I think the people who really, really are into that formations, like really into formations, you know, the guys who, once all the formation mods come out, they're going to install all of them and they're going to go crazy in those formations. The same people who got mad at my formation meme video where I was like, formation players be like, and then it was like that speed run meme, and I kind of put them together. Those same people, I feel like they're still not satisfied at all with the formation system. I think people who kind of do formation sometimes like it, and I feel like players like me who really just don't use it. I just use the basic ones, like move with me, you know what I mean? Like, attack or, retreat, and then, go to this position. That's pretty much the only ones I use. And sometimes I switch over to just archers, and I tell them to go back so they don't die. That's pretty much my experience with it. I don't know. For all the people who love formations, which I'm pretty sure there's not that many of you guys in my chat, because like I'm pretty sure some of my videos where I talked about how I don't use any formations really got a lot of people mad in the past. So I don't know. What do you guys think about formations? Skill-based directional combat system wasn't forgotten either, and the help of Collaborative playtesting suggestions from the community has seen significant improvements to attacking, blocking, animations, and movement. The readying and aiming durations of ranged weapons like bows, crossbows, and throwing weapons were also reworked and tied to weapon speeds, adding more variety between ranged weapons of the same kind. Together, these changes make for a more fluid and challenging experience in both single-player and multiplayer. True. Like I said, I think the combat system is great. I think it's very fun. If you haven't played multiplayer, do it. It's very fun as well to play against other people and just have the combat system versus other people. Alrighty, multiplayer. The importance of multiplayer to the game cannot be stressed enough, and we showed that to be the case when we first. I cannot read. Jesus Christ, my brain's going faster than my what's it called? My mouth. I don't know what that's called, but yeah. And we showed that to be the case when we first introduced you to Bannerlord with a closed beta before the early access launch. Using player feedback and bug reports, we were able to improve many aspects in the game in preparation for EA, and since then multiplayer has gone through quite a few changes. While we worked on combat, class, and game mode balance, 3 new captain, skirmish, and siege scenes, as well as 2 new deathmatch maps were added. Yes, what I'm most excited for multiplayer is what they have in stores. I'm waiting for the ranked. I wanna have ranks of top 1. Leaderboards. I want that. That's coming. What else was coming? There's a couple more things. I forgot them completely. There was little cosmetic things, which I think are going to be cool, depending on how they do it. And I don't even care if they're kind of I don't care if you can buy them, if they're buyable skins and stuff like that. And I better not see anybody in the comments complaining oh, you want them to have microtransactions so they can take more money? Don't do that. Every major game has it nowadays. Unless there's a gambling scene, which I really do not like, then if there's no gambling scene, then it's fine. You know what I mean? If there's no way for the player to gamble with the in-game skin or the in-game thing that they get, I think, it's fine. If people want to purchase to look kind of cool online, I don't think it's a big problem. When you start gambling with that stuff, and when you change real-life currency into money to gamble, which is the same thing as just going to gamble with real-life money, I think then it becomes a problem. But other than that, I think it'll be cool, and it's going to add a lot more hype to the multiplayer. Cosmetics usually do. These changes were accomplished by a number of UI improvements, which can be seen in places like the map, loading screens, and additional HUD elements. Additionally, new and impactful gameplay features such as spear bracing and sound occlusion were also implemented. Keep it a stack. Spear bracing is not that good at the moment, but they are working on fixing it. Because as you can see in this picture, you need a lot of time to set this up, and you need to stand still for it to work. And it's if you're playing against another multiplayer player, why would he charge at you when he sees you with this spear? He would just go around because he has so much time to think about it. And you can get shot so easy. You're not protected from anything because you're not blocking anything. I don't know. It's just I want to see it become better, but it's just not that good of a feature right now. But like I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, I think we need a lot more of these features, like this. You know what I mean? Counterplays. Alrighty, alongside these additions in the game, a number of social features were added to support the community. On one hand, we enabled anti-cheat, introduced penalties for quitting matches too often, and added a global mute, as well as in-game reporting system with detailed game and chat logs to help maintain a healthy and fair community environment. Oh, also what they're going to add is a spectator mode, so they can actually spectate games, and in a way they can do some kind of tournaments. I think that would be very cool as well. And on the other hand, we introduced mechanics like match history that enables you to find information about your recent matches, which not only provides match details but allows you to keep track of people you have played with and increase your circle of friends. Cool. This was complemented by the introduction of the clan system, which lets you band together with your friends for some casual play or compete in competitive clan matches against other teams through a dedicated clan match system. And thanks to the all-new in-game clan roster, it's easy to keep track and manage members or transfer leadership of the clan. Finally, the clan leaderboard allows you to track your clan's overall competitive performance in clan matches. Cool, but I think it still needs a lot more work, and they are currently working on it, which is great. Moving on to art. Oh, wow. Alright, since the start of EA, we've been adding and improving content to make the game more engaging and alive. To this end, over 20 new settlement scenes have been added, and also we're getting is that huge new terrain change where it's actually going to look like the map terrain whenever you go into the battle. That's coming, which is going to be crazy, which they're going to talk about right here. In addition to this, 26 new battle terrains have been introduced in preparation for the upcoming battle terrain system that was recently introduced. At the same time, all the game's existing scenes, and in particular the campaign map, have received a lot of TLC. What is TLC? In the forms of fixes and tweaks, okay, alongside other improvements like models and icons. Cool. Alrighty, new settlements, cool to see, but of course you will need to be able to look and act the part when you are out of your adventures, which is why we continue to add to the experience extensive selection of clothing, armors, weapons, and crafting pieces with the addition of many new items. Okay, this is, well, it's kind of true, yeah. In like the first couple of updates, they added like 200-300 new stuff, but after that, they didn't really add too much armor pieces. It was like 3 armors here, 5 armors there, and most of them were Battanians, to be honest with you. So it wasn't huge, extensive like introductions to new items, but okay. Our efforts to further immerse you have extended to our visual aspects of the game, such as the various new and improved animations and many new faction and event-themed artworks that have been added to the settlement menus. Yeah, I do agree. These are pretty cool. I like these little pictures you see everywhere. Behind, kind of like whenever you visit the town, it's like on the left-hand side, and the background is usually one of these, and then the text would be like right over here. These are cool. All right, audio. Next, we move on to discuss something that is most important, that is just as important at drawing you into the world as the sights, which is the sounds. In the effort to improve Calaria's soundscape, numerous new ambients were added. They did add more songs, while existing ones were further detailed. In addition to this, a number of new music tracks were added across the game. I think the music's good. And it sets a good scene. You know what I mean? I think audio, pretty good. Alrighty, let's continue. Alongside these, a broader range of selectable voice types is made available for your characters, and missing shouts for charges and retreats were added. Okay, similarly, to further improve the feel of battle, a number of additional shouted warnings were introduced. Yeah, if you go out the map, they're like, "Come back, sir," or something like that, which is kind of funny. And for multiplayer, alongside the addition of sound inclusion that we mentioned above, most of the sound's audioability has been thoroughly overhauled. Beyond these, there are countless minor revisions all around the game's audible world. Good audio. I agree. Modding tools. Last but certainly not least, we have modding tools. Modders have... Okay, so this right here, while I know they're going to say a lot of good stuff, we did recently talk about, what's it called? The overhaul mods, the big mods that everyone's waiting on. They have a lot of issues. The modding tools, while they work good for like, small mods, for more extensive overhaul mods, it's very... like they can't even work on it. It's like impossible to actually make it work. So while it's good that all this came out, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Let's see what it has to say. Modders have always played a key role for the Mount & Blade franchise and provide a great deal of joy and inspiration for players and developers alike. I agree. Even with the first days of Bannerlord's early access, you were hard at work to bring your creations to players, and despite not having any tools, you were able to push Bannerlord to one of the top games in terms of mods created and downloaded. Yes. And hopefully, they are in the talks with those overhaul mods, and hopefully those come out, and hopefully there is good cooperation there. I do hope for the best. So we were really quite excited to release our initial set of modding tools into the early access after the closed testing, workshops, and discussions with a number of you ended. The current kit includes a powerful scene editor with many tools and a range of resource editors. Together they allow for the creation of many of the same assets that are part of the game, as well as entirely new ones. You got all of these right over here if you want to look on the screen. Very cool. And what better way to celebrate the occasion than with the first big creative contest? This is where they made those villages. We've gone over this in the previous videos. There were certainly some challenges with the tools being fresh out the oven, but that you didn't let that stop you and even helped improve the editor, all while creating some truly amazing scenes. Cool. However, with all that being said, there's still much work to be done with API. And see, I like that. See, they point out exactly what the overhaul mods we're talking about, which is documentation needs to get better, and just overall the tools itself. Good. We assure you that this remains one of our goals, and we will increase our efforts in this regard. Great to hear. That's exactly what you need to say. And they say, well, that was certainly a lot to get through, even after all the cuts. If we missed out any changes or additions to the game that you personally enjoyed, please make sure to leave a reply. Oh, these replies are going to be good. I can remember the first one. In the comment section below and let us know what it was. And finally, we have a message for those of you that have been following development a little more avidly through early access and are interested in where the game is heading rather than the path it has taken. We felt that trying to squeeze such a big discussion into this particular post had detracted from both topics, and ultimately we wouldn't be able to give it the attention and respect that it deserves. As such, we decided that we would discuss some of the future plans for the game in a follow-up post in the near future. Until then, we want to thank you once again for your amazing support through early access and wish you the best of health. Cool. Maybe we're going to get a roadmap type post, even though we've gotten those before, but people are still not liking it. We'll see which way they decide to go with it, and I will cover that as well when it does come out. All right, just to end this off real quick, because I am running out of breath. Here are the memes for you guys. They're right here, okay? The importance of multiplayer of this game could not be stressed enough. You guys are stupid. Reading multiplayer section. Oh, people on. Okay, I'm out of here, man. Yeah, I think this is a good post. I think they did, they said what they had to say. I agree with a lot of it. Obviously, I've spoken my concerns. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Ask me any questions and concerns. And like always, stay safe.